Okay, in this lesson we're going to take a look at some examples of finding the equations of lines when we're given some information about whether or not the lines are parallel or perpendicular. Now before we do that, let's just recap a little bit what we know about the slopes of lines that are parallel and perpendicular. So if we have, let's say, two parallel lines, what do we know about the slopes? What do we know about the slopes? Chris? That would be perpendicular lines. Okay. If we've got perpendicular lines, the slopes are negative reciprocals. Okay. What do we mean by negative reciprocals? Okay, let's say we've got a slope of, I don't know, 3 over 4. What would be the negative reciprocal of 3 over 4? Yeah, negative 4 over 3. So perpendicular lines, slopes are negative reciprocals. Parallel lines, what do we know about the slopes? They are the same, yes. Okay, so these are the two things you need to remember. All right, let's take a look at this question here. Determine the equation of the line perpendicular to y equals 2x plus 5 and passing through negative 2, 6. The way you want to set these questions up is you want to think about this in terms of two lines. There is the line that you are given, okay, and then there's the line that you are trying to find. Okay. Now, what do we know about this line that we are given? We are given the line y equals 2x plus 5. What you should always try to figure out is, what is the slope of this line? So what is the slope of this line, 2x plus 5, Stephanie? 2. Okay. The line that we're trying to find, we don't know anything about it yet. So I'm just going to put y equals mx plus b, because that's always the starting point when we're trying to find the equation of a line. That's our general form. If our given line has a slope of 2, and the line that we are trying to find is perpendicular to the line that we are given, what is the slope of the line that we are trying to find? Negative 1 over 2, right, because these have to be negative reciprocals, because these things are perpendicular. And I'll just write perp in here like this. So now we know the slope of the line that we are trying to find. So let's put that into our expression y equals mx plus b. Okay. So we're getting a little bit closer to having the equation of this line. We've got this slope. Now we need to find our y-intercept. What can we do here to find our y-intercept? Now you had lots of practice doing this in Unit 14-15. What are we going to do from here? What else do we know about this line that we're trying to find? Well, we also know that the line that we're trying to find goes through this point. So this point, negative 2, 6, is on this line that we are trying to find. So what can we do with that x and that y? Steph? Yeah, we can substitute them into our equation here. So I'm going to put, let's see, y equals 6, and x equals negative 2. So I get negative 1/2 times negative 2 plus b. And now I'm going to solve for b. So negative 1/2 times negative 2 is going to give me positive 1. And then to solve this, I'm going to subtract 1 from both sides to get rid of that. And I'm left with b equals 5. Okay. Now, am I done? There's one last thing I should do here. Put it all together. Because they asked me for the equation of a line, I had better give them the equation of a line. So I will take my general form here, y equals, I know my slope is negative 1/2. I know my y-intercept is 5. Put it all together. Put a box around it, letting whoever is marking this know that this is the equation of the line that we were supposed to be finding. Okay? So that's the basic process here. So let's just do, we'll do a couple more examples here. Now this one is on the page that you've got. This is the first example on the page. Determine the equation of the line parallel to 2x minus 3y plus 1 equals 0, passing through the point 1, 2. Okay? So again, let's organize this in terms of the line that we are given and the line that we are trying to find. The line we are given is 2x minus 3y, not plus 3y, plus 1 equals 0. The line that we're trying to find, we'll just put y equals mx plus b here. Okay. And what we know about the line that we're trying to find is that it goes through the point 1, 2. So we'll just list this point over here where we're for the thing that we're trying to find. Now, the first step in the last question that we did was to get the slope of this line that we are given. So let's do that again. Let's get the slope of this line right here. What is the slope of 2x minus 3y plus 1 equals 0? We don't know because it's not in slope y-intercept form. So what should we do before we do anything else in this question? Stephanie? Yeah, let's rearrange this and put it in slope y-intercept form. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to move the 2x and the 1 over to the other side by subtracting 2x and subtracting 1. If I do that on one side, I have to do it on the other side as well. So if I do that, I'll have negative 3y equals negative 2x minus 1. And then what do I need to do to get this in y equals mx plus b form? After I've got that stuff on one side, yeah, I got to divide everything by negative 3. So negative 3 divided by negative 3. And I'll end up with y equals, let's see, 2 over 3. I got negative and negatives. That's going to cancel. So I'll just have 2/3 x. And then negative 1 divided by negative 3 plus 1/3 there. Okay. So now, what is our slope? M equals 2/3. So that's the line that we are given. What does this tell us about the line that we're trying to find? Stephanie? Sorry, say that again? Yeah, the slope is 2/3. And we know that because our two lines are parallel to each other, so they have to have the same slope. All right, now I think you can see where we're going to go here. We'll sub in this slope, 2/3 x plus b. Okay, what are we going to do next? Andrew? Put in our coordinates. So let's put in a 2 for y, a 1 for x, and try to figure out what b is going to be here. Oh no, we got fractions here. So we got to work with fractions. All right, so I'm going to, 2/3 times 1 is just 2/3 plus b. I got to get a common denominator between this 2 and this 2/3. So my common denominator is going to be 3. How do I write 6? How do I write 2 as something over 3? It's got to be 6 over 3. I just told you. Okay. So now we can do our subtraction. I'm going to subtract 2/3 here. I'm going to subtract 2/3 over here. And if I do that, I get a y-intercept of 4/3. And then let's put it all together. Y equals 2/3 x plus 4/3. And we're done. Okay. So this is the way most of them are going to work. You get the slope of the first line. You use it to figure out the slope of the line that you're trying to find. You've got a point. You can sub it in, solve for the y-intercept. Okay? Sometimes they'll give you ones that are a little bit different than that. So we're going to look at one that is a little bit different. I think the next example on your page we're not going to do, so cross that out. I think this is the third example on the page. Determine the equation of the line parallel to x plus 3 equals 0 and passing through the point negative 6, 7. Okay. Let's start by looking at the line that we are given. We're given the line x plus 3 equals 0. What kind of a line is x plus 3 equals 0? Any ideas? Well, what if I move the 3 over to the other side? I subtract 3 here and I subtract 3 here, and I get x equals negative 3. Stephanie? It is a vertical line. Right. So if we were to graph this, there's my y-axis, there's my x-axis. If we're graphing the line x equals negative 3, it would be a vertical line going through the point x equals negative 3. Or crossing our x-axis at the point negative 3. Okay. So that's the line that we are given. Now, how is this line related to the line that we're trying to find? We're trying to find a line parallel to this line. And it has to pass through the point negative 6, 7. So the line that we're trying to find, if it's going to be parallel to this line, what kind of a line does it have to be? It's got to be vertical. We know that it passes through the point negative 6, 7. So let's add that point negative 6, 7 to our little diagram here. Let's see, that's negative 3. Negative 6 would be right there. And, oh, sorry, it's negative 7. So negative 6, negative 7 would be right here. We need a vertical line that goes through that point. So let's just draw a vertical line going through that point. This is the line that we're trying to find. What's the equation of this line going to be? Well, we called this line x equals negative 3 because it crossed that x-axis at negative 3. Where does this one cross the x-axis? Stephanie? It crosses at negative 6, so the equation is going to be x equals negative 6. Okay? So usually in these kinds of questions, you can follow that procedure like we did in the first two questions. Sometimes you just got to look at the kind of information that they give you and work it out from there. Okay? We'll do one last example here, and then I'll let you guys get to work here. Two perpendicular lines have the same x-intercept. One of the lines is y equals 3x plus 1. Find the equation of the other. Okay, we are given the line y equals 3x plus 1. What do we know about this line, y equals 3x plus 1? First thing we should try to figure out from this line is what? The slope. So what is our slope here, Michelle? M equals 3. Now what does that tell us about the slope for the line that we're trying to find? If the two lines are perpendicular. Michelle. Negative what? 1 over 3. Yeah, we think of this as 3 over 1, so this is going to be negative 1/3. Okay, so we got the slope of the line that we're trying to find. But they don't give us, like in the previous questions, they gave us a point that was on this line. They're not giving us a point over here. What they tell us is that they have the same x-intercept. So if we found the x-intercept of this line that we were given, we could use it in this line that we're trying to find over here. So let's go ahead and find the x-intercept of this line that we are given. Now, it'd be nice and easy if they told us the y-intercept was the same, but it's not. The x-intercept is the same. So how do we find the x-intercept? We've got some line. X-intercept is where this thing crosses the x-axis here. This is our x-intercept. It's going to have some value of x here. We don't know what that is, but what is the value of y going to be there, where it crosses that x-intercept? Remember y is how high up we are, Stephanie? 0. Yeah, so we know that at our x-intercept, y has to be 0. So let's set y equal to 0 in our equation. So our equation is y equals 3x plus 1. So let's put in y equals 0. And let's solve for x here. So I'm going to subtract 1 from both sides. And I get 3x equals negative 1. Then I'm going to divide through by 3. And we get x equals negative 1/3. So if x equals negative 1/3 when y equals 0, that's giving us a point on this line. The point is negative 1/3, 0. That's the x-intercept of this line. Where are we going to go from here? Just tell me in words what we should do next. Because now this is kind of like the other questions that we've been doing. Right? Stephanie. We go back to y equals mx plus b. Fill in the information we have. We know our slope is negative 1/3. We know our y value is 0 when our x value is negative 1/3. And we want to figure out what b is going to be here. So negative 1/3 times negative 1/3 is positive 1/9. Okay, so if 0 equals 1/9 plus b, I'm going to subtract 1/9 from both sides. That gives me b equals negative 1/9. And then we just put it all together. Y equals negative 1/3 x minus 1/9. And we put a box around it because we're done. Okay.